Welcome back to our program. I'm your host, Wu Ruiguo. In this segment, we'll continue our conversation with Mr. Daniel Hwang, member of the Legislator Yuan in Taiwan. Daniel, we understand that before you are a member of the parliament, that you were working in the government, first as a diplomat to not only South Africa, but also to Washington, D.C., and also to London. Can you tell us a little bit about your experiences as a government diplomat in all these different places? What was it like to be a government diplomat and carrying out Taiwan's foreign relations? Especially, I know you were responsible for international media relations, and that has always been your area of specialty. Can you share with us some of that experience?
Thank you. I am very lucky, as you mentioned. I was a civil servant before I ran for parliamentarian 10 years ago.
Yes.
Before that, before I was a member of parliament, I was for 15 years civil servant.
Civil servant, yes.
In a narrow sense, diplomat. And I was posted in Washington, D.C. For 5 years, and 1.5 years in South Africa, and another 1.5 years in Oxford, London.
London, yes.
My experiences covers 3 continents.
Yes.
And that's really better my lives and better my worldwide vision.
Of course.
For my future endeavor, my future careers, better me. I'm very grateful to my people and my governments, my superiors. To them, my gratitude. But I think traveling extensively throughout 3 continents helped me to see things from a broader view and from a higher altitude.
Yes.
And that's so. I have been, as I said earlier, I have been congressman for 10 years. This is my 4th term.
Yes.
And you will never see Daniel Hwang, myself, my humble self, using body language, fist fighting against my colleagues in the congressional scene.
Yes, never.
On TV.
No.
That's
you.
Civility.
Yes.
It's a civilization.
Yes.
Because I have learned from American congressmen, from the UK, the British congressmen, even South Africa. I didn't see the congressmen fighting each other in the parliament, on the congressional floor, among themselves. So really, this is something for me to keep in mind.
Yes. And
at the beginnings, my voters, my people in my district, they say, "Daniel, where are you?" When they were fighting.
Yes.
I said, "This is not civility. This is not civilization. This is not the way people expect a congressman to do." And gradually, as time has passed by, people realize this is the trait, this is characters that they really appreciate.
This is your trademark.
Yeah, that's me.
Yes.
So I'm unique.
Yes.
And I will continue to do this kind of to observe civility.
Yes.
And pay due respect to say ministers who have been summoned.
Yes.
To report to congressmen before the Congress. I will not insult them. I will not humiliate them.
No.
Let's talk sense
into them. Yes. And also the fact that I understand that when you were a government diplomat and representing the Government Information Office, that was during the time when Taiwan is in a state of international diplomatic isolation, almost. Successively, a lot of countries severed diplomatic ties with us. Eventually, South Africa also, recognized Beijing instead of Taipei. But during that very difficult international circumstances, how did you, as the first line diplomatic officer representing the Republic of China from Taiwan, how do you relay our government position, our government's message to the international media, whether it's in South Africa, in the United States, or in England? How do you explain to them our position, our views on the cross-strait relations or other areas? How do you do it?
Indeed, in the 1990s and
it's very difficult.
20s, those early years, Taiwan Republic of China was internationally isolated. The world media used to phrase Taiwan as orphan of Asia.
Yes.
Taiwan and Israel and South Africa at the times were grouped as an orphan of the world.
Yes.
So you could imagine the youngsters, the young people nowadays in Taiwan, they couldn't imagine how difficult internationally Taiwan was. But fortunately, as I said, this is politics, nothing to do with integrity, nothing to do with principles.
No.
And is being a diplomat, representing Taiwan's interest, representing interest, image overseas, I think two things are important. Two things will win people's respect for you. So,
of course.
Say integrity and honesty. As you say earlier, I was, say, a spokesman for our, say, overseas sports. I was their spokesman. I deal with foreign journalists, reporters, anchor persons. But two things I always keep in my mind. I never lie to them about my country's situations. Right? Honesty, integrity. When I give them my promise, I always keep in mind, delivers on my promises. So two things I say always utilized. And I have won, say, trust and confidence of my foreign friend. But fortunately, nowadays, because of the so-called détente policies adopted by Mr. Ma and his people, President Ma and our government, the relations between Taiwan and mainland China has been greatly improved, enhanced. And nowadays, it's really, I always said to the young diplomats nowadays when I met them, I always say, you're lucky because the relations between Taiwan and mainland China has been greatly patched up, and now you will not be caught in between.
Yes, exactly. And also, Daniel, if we may move further down in your career, that when you return from your overseas, post, you were asked by former governor of the Taiwan province, Dr. James Soon, to be his spokesperson at the provincial government. Of course, today the provincial government is no longer in existence because it was, abolished back in 1998. But I think those, 5 or 6 years when you were working at the provincial government, you, as the spokesperson, certainly became instantly trusted and instant source of government information that's credible, that is trustworthy, not only with the journalist community, but also with the general public at large. How did you do that? What were some of the secrets that you had as the provincial government spokesperson at the time that you were very popular? I think many viewers at home remember the time when Daniel was the provincial government spokesperson. You were very popular and also, like I said, very trustworthy with the general public as well as the most of the journalists in the community. How did you do it? What was your secret?
Thank you for your compliments.
Those were the facts.
Thank you for your compliments. My thanks goes to Governor James Soon, my boss, because I serve as his spokesman.
Yes.
Without governor's trust, I couldn't have done my job properly. So
exactly.
His full trust laid down the basis, the foundations for my performing my job. So I thank him for that. Secondly, is thank you the local media for their tolerance with me. Without their tolerance and cooperation, my function as a spokesperson for provincial governments cannot be appreciated that much later on.
You're very modest, Daniel.
But as I say, being a spokesman, I already share my two principles, honesty and integrity.
Yes.
Honesty and integrity. When I was dealing with the foreign media, I think the same principles could even apply
with the local media.
With the local media, being a spokesman. Never lie.
No.
I swear to myself honest to myself. I never lie to any local and foreign media people. That's my principle, number one.
That's your secret. Okay.
That's the secret. And always
yes.
Prepare yourself, because as a spokesperson, you will be asked by different issues, different subjects.
Yes.
And
you must be well in tuned.
Yeah, you well tuned, and don't confine your knowledge in
just one
narrow,
area,
specific narrow areas. You got to broaden your pursuit of different subject of knowledge.
Daniel is very modest, but I can share it with one secret with all of you watching our program, because at the time I was working with Daniel at the provincial government. We're close, we worked closely together for many years, and Daniel has always been very responsive to the request from the local media, no matter how repetitious, no matter how trivial they are. You can always see Daniel on the phone responding to the different questions and requests from the local media, and that was certainly, I remember vividly well, one of his trademarks as a very successful government spokesperson. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. But we'll continue this conversation with Mr. Daniel Hwang, a former spokesperson for the provincial government of Taiwan and currently a member of the Legislator Yuan. We'll be right back.